Well, you guys asked for it. You wanted it loud. Turn your headphones up. No, what am I, Tech of Tomorrow?
All right, tech fans.
This isn't guitars. I don't have coffee breath talking about stuff I don't know about. Hi, this is a video card review channel. I apologize. Don't talk about things. This is an MSI GTX 660 Ti OC. It's called the Power Edition. It's got MSI's twin Frozer design. I really liked this video card, and I'm going to be giving you all kinds of information as well as some benchmarks, whether you should buy it in today's day and age. I'm going to put the guitar away, and I promise I'll never subject it to you again. So, cue an intro, and we're going to talk all about it. Sorry about the guitar. I'll never do that again. I know that a lot of other computer reviewers love to show their guitar skills. Power chords. This is the MSI GTX 660 Ti Power Edition, which was a pretty damn good graphics card. I used it as my daily driver for like a year up until about 8 months, 10 months ago in a Core i7 system, and really never had any issues with slowdown or real issues with like wanting a new graphics card like crazy, because this thing was holding me back. I mean, it had its limitations, but it has 2 gigs of GDDR5 and they run at a pretty decent speed. It has the Kepler architecture, so that's right at the starting point of some real decent graphics cards from NVIDIA. And if you can pick one of these things up for cheap, like $60–80, I think I got rid of mine for $80 Canadian, then I think you're doing all right for a budget system. It'll play like any of the esports games, like at super high. You'll see in a second with some benchmarks, but it'll even do games like Fallout 4 half decently. I did a run through of the new Resident Evil 7 with this on my Xeon, like Core i7 based sort of system that I use as my server on my big TV, and I got 45 to 60 FPS. I think I had to turn, I had high graphics on, but I had like anti-aliasing and stuff turned to low or off just to be able to hit like real good frame rates. But it's definitely like showing its age a little bit, but it's definitely nowhere near as bad as the 5 series or the 550 Ti I reviewed yesterday. So what does this got for specs? Well, it runs 1344 CUDA cores, which is ridiculous compared to the 550 yesterday I reviewed. Only had 191. It has a graphics clock of 915 on the stock version, but this MSI version actually goes like way higher. It boosts up to almost 1100, and it goes at a gigahertz 19, and I was able to get this thing up to like 1250, I think 1300 with a voltage jump, because that twin Frozer fan on it is really good. And if you have a well ventilated case, like it does a pretty good job at overclocking further. I don't know if I was just lucky with mine, but it did a really good job. I always had MSI Afterburner run this thing as high as possible, and it did a pretty good job. You know, compared to like the 7 series, like, you know what, this you might want to go with a 750 over this. It is a little bit more powerful actually, but this is kind of in that area, the 750 Ti. It's pretty good performance per dollar, especially if you can get one for like $80, like I said. So yeah, I never had a real problem with it. I was never super frustrated with it, but it is, you know, showing its age at this point, and it is only like, you know, the second to 4 tiers or 5 tiers from that year. So you know, there definitely is better graphics cards, like the 680 I will be reviewing tomorrow. But let's go ahead and show you some benchmarks. Remember, I run all these video games before I sold them in my Ryzen 7 system with 16 gigs of DDR4 memory and an SSD, so there's really no bottleneck to speak of, so we can really see what kind of performance you can get out of this. But if I'm pairing this with the CPU, I think I'd probably want my CPU to be like a 4-core, maybe a Core i5. I wouldn't put this in some shitty AMD system or like you know, a Pentium system and expect to get too much out of it. You're gonna need a good CPU to carry some of the weight for this, and probably some, you know, at least 8 gigabytes of system memory. So here are the benchmarks. I'm gonna go ahead and run through them, and then we will come back and we will discuss just a little further and give a conclusion. Boom. So figures out pretty decently. I mean, I wouldn't expect too much from this, like I keep saying, but with 2 gigabytes of RAM and PCI Express 3 Kepler architecture, this is the starting point of some pretty good stuff from NVIDIA, so you can't go wrong. I wouldn't go, like I said, with the 650, but I think this compares almost with like the 750 Ti, so you know you're in good hands. Again, you will need a good power supply. It has 2 6-pin connectors and it does suck a lot of power, specifically this Twin Frozer edition, but with that comes some decent overclocking and the ability to squeeze that much more out of it. But this is kind of at the end of its life cycle. You will need a good CPU in order to get the most out of this, I think, but it still will run, like I said, it runs Doom pretty decently. I was pretty impressed. It ran Resident Evil 7 you know, without a hitch. You know, these aren't the bleeding edge of games, but they're not so bad. But yeah, I would say if you can get one of these for $60 to $80, then you're laughing. And you can put this in a budget system that has maybe 4 cores, 4 threads at least, and you could do worse, that is for sure. Really like this card. We have a whole bunch of other stuff coming up. I'm doing its big brother, the 680 tomorrow. I have a reference edition of that, and we'll kind of compare and see how much better the almost best card from the Kepler architecture was, except for the Titan, the original Titan. And yeah, there is a little bit more coming up, 770 on Friday, and there's more Ryzen stuff coming up. I need to get a computer case because people can't make fun of my computer case on the comments, but I love you guys. Thanks very much for commenting, leaving lots of likes. I got lots of subscribers coming. It's just a really nice feeling to, you know, kind of get this YouTube thing really rolling nicely. And always remember, I've got Instagram and Twitter at WatchTimmyJoe, and I have a website, TimmyJoe.com. If you're ever buying anything on Amazon, you can click an affiliate link that's down below. And even if you navigate from whatever you want to buy from one of those links, I still get a little shmoo. But I'm going to leave you with that today. And yeah, GTX 660, the MSI Twin Frozer Power Edition, huge thumbs up, but I would say it's not going to be that great for too much longer. But if all you do is play Dota 2 and CSGO, you'll really like this card. Bye.